Good afternoon. We want to thank everyone for coming out this afternoon. We are here for a very, very important cause for the city of Flint. We want to keep everyone informed on what's going on and let you know what we're doing on behalf of our clients. My name is Trishelle Young, and I am one of the attorneys for the class action that's been previously filed in the federal court, and also one of the attorneys on the two class action cases that have been recently filed. To my left are my fellow co-counsels. We have Michael Pitt. We have Carrie McGee. We have Peggy Pitt. We have Mr. Michael Goodman, Bill Goodman, and we have Catherine. I'm having issues with the names today. But we are all co-counsel on the class actions that have been filed. This morning, we filed a class action in the Genesee County Circuit Court. And as part of that class action, we are seeking and filed an emergency preliminary injunction. And the basis of that emergency preliminary injunction is to prevent the city from issuing any further shutoff notices based on residents' failure to pay their bills. In addition to that, we're also seeking for the court to declare that all of the bills that have been issued for usage of water invalid because the water has not been fit for its intended purpose. Essentially, the residents have been getting billed for water that they cannot use. Because of that, we do not feel that that is a fair way to treat the residents. We do not feel that they should be in danger of their homes being shut off from water. Water is essential to what they need to operate their homes. Without water, they do not have sewage, they cannot flush toilets, they cannot take showers, they cannot wash clothes, and it creates a situation where even people with children, young children, could become in danger of having their children removed from their homes because you are required to have running water in your home if you're going to raise children. So we have, on behalf of our clients who have been vigorously fighting not only the city but the governor for over a year regarding this water, we are here fighting for them, fighting for their rights, not just their social legal rights, but their constitutional rights. That is what we are here doing today. We are looking for emergency action, for emergency relief, and we have filed the case in support of that. Following me, you're going to hear from attorney Bill Goodman, and he's going to talk to you about the different cases that have been filed to date. Bill?
Well, thank you very much. Well, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Bill Goodman. I'm a lawyer in Detroit and representing clients here in Flint. And we have filed 3 lawsuits on behalf of Flint residents, water users, families, human beings, children who've been injured. And the 3 lawsuits are different, each different in its own way. The first is an action in federal court under the United States Constitution. And that action says that despite all these laws that talk about immunity, this government official is immune, that government official is immune, the governor is immune, the major public officials are immune, despite all of that, none of them can violate the Constitution of the United States. That's what that lawsuit says. And we seek damages on behalf of a class of people, which means everybody will get a chance to have their damages evaluated separately and independently, but at the same time, everybody is in the same position. They have all been victimized by these unconstitutional actions of these public officials. That's what that lawsuit is about. The second lawsuit is a lawsuit in the Michigan Court of Claims, and this lawsuit sues the state of Michigan itself for damages for violation of the Michigan Constitution. Now, the Court of Claims case is different than the federal case for a violation of the United States Constitution because you cannot sue a state or the state of Michigan in federal court. So we have a separate lawsuit in which we're trying to fine-tune that point and make sure that the state itself is adjudged to be responsible for the atrocities that have been committed. And the final case is a case in Genesee Circuit Court for what are common law torts known as gross negligence, the grossly negligent action of a whole bunch of public officials, and that's separate and apart from the constitutional violations about which we've spoken. These are all important. We represent 4 Flint families who are representing all people who have had this kind of misconduct inflicted on them. And those are the 3 separate actions that have been filed on behalf of these families and all Flint residents. And the reason that we have taken our time and trouble to file 3 separate lawsuits, each raising these problems, is because the state of Michigan has done so little to fine-tune or protect these people. More has to be done, and we have to reach out in every possible direction. So that is the issue with the 3 separate lawsuits. The second point that needs to be made, I think, is that with lawsuits comes what's called discovery. We finally find out what happened. Stuff is revealed that hasn't been revealed. The governor, if your newspapers or media stations file FOIA requests, Freedom of Information Act requests, the governor says, oh no, I don't have to go along with that. He's protected. He's got a cloak of immunity from FOIA. But he has to answer questions once a lawsuit's been filed. We're going to get those emails, and we're going to get them, I believe, as early as within 42 days of the filing of that case, which is in the next several weeks. We're going to get those emails. We're going to demand them as a part of discovery, and they are going to be coming forward. The other thing that you get with discovery is you get sworn testimony by these public officials. And it's not going to be easy questions. They're not going to be softballs. They're not going to be dodgeable. These are going to be questions in which they're hard questions that are posed to these public officials that they have to answer, and they're not going to get away from answering those questions. That's a basic outline of the litigation that's so far been filed and of the discovery process. Trishelle, do you want to? Who's next here? Now Carrie McGee is going to talk to you about the class action and several aspects of the litigation.
Good afternoon. My name is Carrie McGee, and I'm part of the legal team. And I just want to say what an honor it is to be able to represent the Flint water users who have been so damaged by the misconduct of the governmental officials. I want to say that we filed these actions and give you an update on the status of the class action as it is today. So right now, as Bill has already explained, there have been 3 lawsuits that have been filed. The first lawsuit was in federal court, a class action, as all 3 are class actions. That case is coming up for response from the state in February 1st. And Mr. Michael Pitt will talk to you about the response that we anticipate from the state on that. Right now, what we are doing to respond to the outcry by the Flint water users is we have a call center that we have set up that is being handled by attorneys and paralegals who are taking calls daily. We have heard from over 500 individuals who have registered in this case, and we are getting calls daily, hundreds of calls, and we are taking these calls very seriously. People are being responded to same day. They're getting a response from us, and then we are doing follow-up phone calls to them and doing a very comprehensive inventory of what has happened to them and how they have been harmed by using the Flint water. The stories that we have heard are compelling, as I'm sure you've heard, as this has been covered by the media, but we are talking to people daily who are telling us about how they are unable to afford the water that they have to purchase because they can't use the water in their home, how they don't have the money or transportation means to go and get water. We're hearing about the harmful physical impact that this is having on individuals. People, of course, are talking about rashes. They're talking about hair loss. They're talking about seizures. that never happened before. We're talking to women that have had miscarriages that are not explainable as a result of this. We're talking to people who are psychologically having breakdowns based on the anxiety of not knowing how this is going to impact their children moving forward in the future or impact their own health. Tragic stories that we're hearing about. And as Bill has indicated, the class action is seeking individualized damages for these individuals. So we want to make sure that the individuals who call us know that this class action is the legal relief that they can obtain for what has happened to them on an individual basis. So their issues will be addressed. So at this point, we have information that we will provide at the end of the press conference as to how people can contact us, and the fact that we will be getting back to them in a very timely fashion and obtaining the necessary information from them, including medical records, so that we can properly represent them and protect their interest in terms of the harm that has been done to them. So I'm going to hand over the microphone now to my partner, Michael Pitt.
Thank you, Carrie. I am Michael Pitt. I'm one of the attorneys representing the Flint water users who are part of this class action. The federal lawsuit that Bill and Carrie have mentioned was filed on November 13 of last year. The answer or response to that lawsuit is due in a couple weeks, actually a few days from now, February 1st. Who has so far appeared in that case? Attorney General Bill Schuette. Mr. Schuette, as you know, has said he is going to investigate the state of Michigan to determine if any criminal laws have been violated. Mr. Schuette has been an attorney and a judge, public official for a long time, and he understands that he is in a potential conflict of interest. How can Mr. Schuette defend the party that he is investigating for criminal wrongdoing? So we are expecting to receive some notice shortly that other attorneys will be answering the complaint or some other action is going to be taken. Perhaps Mr. Schuette will appoint a special prosecutor to look into the culpability of the state officials. Remains to be seen. But the answer to the complaint is due on February 1st. As soon as that comes in, we will post it on our website, which is flintwaterclassaction.com. It'll be there for you, everybody, the media, the public, everybody who wants to look at this can see what the state of Michigan says about the lawsuit and how they plan on responding to the lawsuit. What we are most concerned about, of course, are the immediate needs of our clients. They need financial aid now. Water is great and filters are great. That's all good things. And we applaud the government for trying, as meager as it is, to correct the harm that they cause. But our people need financial aid, and they need it now. I spoke this morning to a family who told me that once a week they leave the city of Flint and go to the township where they get Detroit water, and they rent a room in a motel to take showers and baths. And every Friday they have to spend $30, $40, $50 to make this happen. Multiply that by 100 or 1,000. And the water still isn't safe. And this is going to go on for a while. Our people need financial aid. We need it now. And so we're making a call for action to the people responsible for this mess. When I went to kindergarten, my kindergarten teacher said, if you make the mess, you clean it up. I remember that when I was 5 years old. I'm reminding all of our public officials of what my kindergarten teacher told me. You made the mess, you clean it up. You fix the problem. So we want the state of Michigan to immediately start taking care of the financial needs of our people. We want a financial fund created. We want a responsible person appointed to administer the fund. And those are just the short-term needs of our people. Our people should have their water bills paid by the state of Michigan. They shouldn't have to pay the city of Flint, and the city of Flint shouldn't be absolutely bankrupted and punished because they can't get revenues. The state of Michigan created this problem. The state of Michigan ought to fund those bills and get that money to the city of Flint so that the water system can be fixed and corrected and people can get fresh, clean water from Detroit like they're supposed to get. That should happen immediately. The governor has to look at the other departments responsible for this fiasco. Heads have rolled in the Michigan Department of Environmental Quality. He needs to look very seriously at what happened in the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services. You want to put that slide up that shows that? You all may have seen this. This is the spike up here. That's what happened in June, July, August, September of 2014. Those are statistics from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services. Those are not Dr. Mona Hana-Atisha's statistics. State law requires that every time a child is given a blood draw for lead, the physician has to turn in that data to the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services within 5 business days. That department had all of this information before the end of 2014. And they were silent. They sat on it. They were staring at a public health emergency, and they sat on it for over 10 months. For 10 months, kids, people drank that water, and these officials knew of that elevated blood level. And don't let anyone tell you that they didn't know about this problem until October of 2015. That's a lie, and we're going to prove that's a lie. Assurances. These public officials were assuring the public the water was safe at a time when they knew it was not true. MDEQ put out public notices saying that we have no evidence of elevated blood levels. That came out in September of 2015, which is a whole year after they knew that was a lie. They continued to make false assurances to people. I don't know how many kids were poisoned because of those false assurances, but we're going to find out, and we're going to hold those people accountable. And we want the state of Michigan to step up now. Don't aggressively defend these lawsuits. That's just going to make this problem worse. You need to resolve these lawsuits, and you need to do it now so that people can get on with their lives and that people can begin to rebuild what the state of Michigan so carelessly took from them. So we're here to make sure that happens. And I'm asking the governor and everybody else who may be listening to this, heed our call to action. Our people need relief now.
I'm Catherine Bruner James. I'm an associate at Goodman and Hurwitz. I'm also an attorney representing the plaintiffs in this case. The last bit of information we want to leave you with today is that we're having our second class meeting. We had one in early December where we disseminated information to potential class members, and we're organizing our second to come in, as Mike mentioned, after we know a little bit more about how the state is responding to our federal lawsuit. So this meeting's taking place on February 16th. It's taking place at 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. in the North Bank Grand Ballroom at 342 North Saginaw Street in Flint. That's on the University of Michigan Flint campus. Now, in the meantime, as everyone has mentioned, we've had just about over 500 people contact us to sort of register with us as potential class members. And if anyone would like to do that in the meantime, if they haven't done so before, you can do that. If you go to flintwaterclassaction.com, you can find information about the lawsuit. And one of the links on that site is a questionnaire that we're encouraging people to fill out. That way we get your contact information and our staff can follow up with a more detailed interview. So please, if you haven't signed up there already, please do so now. Disseminate that information to your friends and neighbors in Flint. And we understand that not everyone has a computer in their homes. If you have a computer in your home and you have friends or neighbors who don't, please assist them in signing up on the website. Otherwise, just call the number 248-398-9800, and we can conduct that interview over the phone. Thank you.